Samuel Chukwueze, you need to show us something. We don't hate you, we don't dislike you, but at the same time, for all the support that we've given you right from the under 17 level up till today, you need to start repaying us back. Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching or listening to us from. This is another episode of the Naija FC Podcast. We are in AFCON mood. The Africa Cup of Nations is officially up and running, and the Super Eagles, in fact, have taken part in the tournament. We played our first game of the tournament against Equatorial Guinea on Sunday. And in case you missed it, we played a 1-1 draw. So first thing that I will say is Smith Layi and I were both very wrong. Our predictions were both wrong. In fact, after we finished talking about how Equatorial Guinea don't score in the first half, now first half they take scores. So disappointing results, and we're going to get into it. I'm just going to give you guys a synopsis of everything that happened, our thoughts, and then we'll call it a wrap for this episode. As always, I'm your host AyoT, and with me I have my reliable co-host.
Thanks for joining.
Yes. So Smith, let's get into the conversation quickly. I think the first thing that people were surprised about, before we saw the match and we saw the result, first thing people were surprised about was the setup of the team. Jose Peseiro, who we've talked about, his 4-4-2, his 4-4-2. In our prediction, you said, you think he's going to go with a 3-4-3. I said, no, I think he's going to stick with a 4-4-2. And to everybody's surprise, he did not go with either. He went with a different setup. He went with a 4-3-3 or 4-2-3-1. Depends on how you want to look at it. Was that something that's were you really surprised? Did you think that the team could play in that kind of system?
Yes, I think he tried it once in the away leg against Zimbabwe. The first half when in the World Cup qualifier, when it wasn't working, I think he reverted back to his 4-4-2. But because it didn't work for that few minutes, 30 minutes, I did not think that he would go back to it in the crucial AFCON opener. But he surprised, like you said before, he surprised all of us, and for me, I think the formation worked.
Okay. And I would say, another thing was the formation had Nwabali, or the lineup had Nwabali starting ahead of Francis Uzoho. Uzoho, we've complained about him. When I say we, I mean Nigerian fans, media, everybody has complained about his performances. He's made mistakes in previous matches. But Jose Peseiro always defended him and always picked him. When he was fit and available, always picked him ahead of whoever else was on the team. Did it shock you that when now came to the AFCON, all of a sudden Uzoho is on the bench? Did that shock you?
No, I was surprised actually, because I expected that since you can back him during the World Cup qualifier, you can back him during the AFCON qualifier. Now, when it's time for the main event, you dropped him. I was a little bit surprised, but I understand why I think Peseiro dropped Uzoho, because, for instance, now if Uzoho made any mistake in that first half, I think not only sacking Uzoho, they will sack Peseiro with it, because nobody will take it. Nobody will take it because we start wondering that maybe they have the same DNA also, or they are family members. That's why he's backing for this long. But I understand why he dropped Uzoho. I think that he's just trying to take him away from the press, from limelight. Just let him recover and get him back. That's the reason why I think he dropped him.
And do you think that decision to play Stanley Nwabali ahead of Uzoho, considering the fact that we still considered we didn't win the match, do you think it was a good decision that he made?
We wouldn't know. I won't think. It's very hard to actually judge Stanley Nwabali's first game was Super Eagles officially, because he once played for the home base before, and he also played in the Guinea game in the warm-up. But this is like the first official game for Stanley Nwabali. It's hard to actually judge him based on that, because I think that only few goalkeepers can stop the goal he conceded. That's number one. And he was confident coming to catch the ball, trying to initiate attack, things like that. I like the way he was trying to initiate attack, but the only thing I faulted him for was when he was trying to be a sweeper keeper. When he came out in the second half and the nearly scored when they took the ball, if you are coming out, you have to come out convincingly. He wanted to come and clear the ball at the edge of this box or the Equatorial Guinea striker was faster and he took the ball, if not for the recovery of AFCON. And I know it would have been very hard. It would have been second goal for Equatorial Guinea. So I think overall it's hard to judge him based on this because the goal he considered only few goalkeepers can actually work and save it.
And I have to say, I agree with you as well. I was also shocked, surprised that Francis Zoho did not start. We both predicted Zoho in our lineups for the game. But like you said, Nwabali, it's just hard to really judge him based on the match that we played against Equatorial Guinea because one, they didn't have many shots on target. In fact, their goal was their only shot on target in the match.
Yes.
So it wasn't like he was really called into action that many times. What I was impressed with though was that at least the few times that they had corner kicks, they had crosses into the box, and he had to come and command this area and secure possession of the ball, grab it out of the sky. He was able to do that fairly comfortably. He didn't look shaky, he didn't look jittery, he didn't really look nervous. And considering the fact that right now we have very low standards for our goalkeeping in the Super Eagles, that's all that we can really ask for. Don't make any mistakes, don't put us under unnecessary pressure. And I think he did fairly well. Looking forward to the next game. I don't know who Pesero is going to choose, but congratulations to Stanley Nwabali for making his debut for the Super Eagles, and hopefully he can really compete for that position. I mean, I'm assuming that someone like Maduka Okoye will be back in the side in the future. Zoho is going to stay in the mix. Hopefully they bring Adeleye back in the mix. Olorunleke Ojo is in the side now, so I think the competition is good for all the players, and hopefully Nwabali can live up to the potential that people think he has. Let's move on to another debutant that was in the squad. Alhassan Yusuf is who I'm talking about. He wasn't even named in the initial squad for the tournament. Wilfred Ndidi gets injured. We need to draft a replacement. Alhassan Yusuf comes in. I'm going to put you on the spot now, Smith Layi, because on an earlier episode of the podcast, when I had asked you about Alhassan Yusuf and his inclusion, you had made the controversial statement that you don't think he's going to bring anything, he's going to add anything to the team that we don't already have. Now that he made his debut and he had a fantastic performance, for anybody that didn't watch the game, Alhassan Yusuf essentially covered every blade of grass, created chances, won balls back for us, and he just was an all-round superstar for Nigeria because he was our best player on the night. Do you take back those words that you said? Did he prove you wrong? Did he surprise you with his performance?
No, it's let me just make this disclaimer. It's not as if I said that he's not a good player. I know he's a good player, but I just think that what he's bringing, we already have it, because I believe that the way he was played, that's why he performed that way. If he was restricted like Frank Onyeka, I'm pretty sure that you will not see him play that way, because you can see clearly that he was occupying spaces, he was making runs, he was getting into spaces. If he was playing the Onyeka role, it would be restricted. And I think that what he did, Frank the Tank can also do it in that team. He can actually do it. It's not as if he's not a good player, but what even make him exceptional is that he was making his debut for Nigeria, and that one stood out. It's like just trying to, when you see your lady for the first time, you will trying to it was going to be more beautiful than the other ones you have been seeing. So that is, I think that contributed to why we praised him and everything. Where has it been for all this while and things like that. So I think that the second game that's going to be for Nigeria, we know, we see him very well.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Some people will say that you are still not admitting, but I understand where you're coming from. But I will say, it was no surprise to me personally, because Alhassan Yusuf is a player that I've been covering and watching for a long time. I've been talking about him. I've always said he's a good player. The only thing that I would say maybe was a bit surprising was the fact that, on debut, sometimes players can want to take it easy. On debut, sometimes the pressure can get to players, and maybe they don't really do too much. Or it's just let me I don't make mistake. Once they get ball, just pass it off. We've seen certain people that have made their debuts like that, but he really imposed himself. He was all over the place, and it was very unfortunate that he got injured. I mean, I saw an interview that he did after the match. Well, not really an interview, just a short, thing that he did in the mixed zone, where he said, it was just cramps. But we've also heard reports that he didn't train, the next day. So hopefully it is nothing serious. and he's able to play in our next match. But I have to give him his kudos. I think it was as good a debut as we could have asked from him. For a player that is not necessarily meant to even be creating chances or be scoring goals. He did quite well. He created the chance that Zedu missed in the first half. And he took a beating from those Equatorial Guinea players. They kept on fouling him and fouling him and fouling him. And Alhassan Yusuf, in his typical fashion, he does not even know how to get angry. The one time that he was even upset, he was still looking like one small boy that if they tell him to shut up, he'll just shut up and he'll go. But I can't wait to see him put on that shirt again. I think that he gives people confidence that if indeed he is missing in the side, maybe we can have somebody that will make us not to feel, the absence of Wilfred Ndidi as much as we thought we would. So congratulations to him. And wish him all the best in his future Super Eagles matches. Okay, let's move on to another part of the team in the defense. Something that personally surprised me was that Shemi Ajayi was played at left center back ahead of Calvin Bassey. Do you think that there is something that we are not seeing? There is something that we do not understand? What do you think could have been the coach's reasoning for that? We know Calvin Bassey plays left center back for Fulham every week. He's actually a left-footed player. He's a good player. Some people would even tell you that he's the best center back that we have. And the coach played him ahead of Shemi Ajayi. And I'll just even bring in William Chris Ekong as well. Ekong has been left out of numerous Super Eagles squads since Jose Peseiro took over. He's not been calling him up, And then, guess the AFCON, you play Ajayi at left centre back and you play Ekong as your captain at right centre back. Can you just help us get into the brain of the coach a little bit? What was he thinking there?
No, for me, I think that he went for experience. I think he just went for experience that Ekong, played at the third for now. He was part of the team in 2019. If not because of failure to qualify for the 2015 and 2017 edition, Ekong would have been playing like this fifth AFCON now. So experience, captain of the team. I think that one's actually what reasonable. We also realized that Ajayi too narrowly missed the AFCON 2019, and then he was part of the team that went to Cameroon in 2021. So I think he went for experience. And the time the game was played, it's actually what very high. The temperature was crazy. The weather was very harsh. And I remember the last time like Calvin Bassey played in that type of condition against Ghana in Abuja. We all know the rest they say is history. So I just think that different things could be as a result of that. But I still think that Calvin Bassey is our best defender. But I think that maybe you just want to take him away slightly from the limelight and see. I think we're going to go where we preview it. I think my formation will work this time around. I think it's going to be 3-4-3. I think Calvin Bassey will come.
Okay. And you mentioned experience. So if the coach, and I'm just asking, playing devil's advocate a little bit, but if the coach was going for experience, then why didn't he play Kenneth Omero?
I don't know, because one, if things become difficult, it turns to Kenneth Omero and Semi Ajayi. You know that. But I don't know why Omero is not actually what playing. Maybe practically, maybe a knock. But I think he was on the bench. So, but I think he wanted to play in that team. So if Ekong is playing in that team and you want to play and you want Ajayi to be there too, it's not, it's going to be very hard. So I think that his favorite defender is Ajayi. So Ajayi must be there.
You think his favorite defender is Ajayi?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Let's move forward and look at another two players. I'm talking now about Ademola Lookman and Moses Simon. In the match, at least for the first half, Ademola Lookman played as a left winger and Moses Simon played as a right winger. The first question I would ask before we even get into their performances is why do you understand why maybe the coach didn't go for a 4-4-2? He likes the 4-4-2 on a normal day. I'm looking at it that he could have played a 4-4-2. He could have played Lookman as supporting striker. He could have played Moses Simon on the left and played Iwobi on the right and had Alhassan Yusuf and Onyeka in the middle of the park. But instead he decided to play Lookman on the left and Moses Simon on the right. Iwobi as the third midfielder on top of the triangle. And then we saw it. Moses Simon was almost a passenger throughout that first half. Me and Moses Simon were doing the same thing, even though I was at home watching it on TV. We both had no impact on the match. And it's something that I feel like anybody that really watches Moses Simon or anybody that watches the Super Eagles could have predicted. I said it in Instagram comments when people were after the lineup was released. I don't see what Simon is going to do on the right wing. That's the reason why, even after seeing the 11 players, I was still trying not to believe that it was a 4-3-3 because I'm like, I don't see what Simon is going to do on the right wing. What do you think would have been the coach's reasoning there for playing Simon on the right wing and Lookman on the left?
I think because we don't have any right winger. That's the issue. We don't have any right winger. The right
For
wingers we have.
Alexi, what of Alexi Iwobi that I referenced? Because
No,
Iwobi plays right wing for his club sometimes.
yeah, I think he just wants to maximize Iwobi's this because out of the midfielders we have in that team, it's only Alex Iwobi that can play through ball. So if you restrict him to the right wing to be tracking back, you are limiting the potential of the team to go forward. So that is the only thing. Alex Iwobi is like a midfielder, but the other ones that are right wingers, they're not right winger. They're just there for the team. Because you saw when one came in, he just came to play and he went back. So we only have left wingers. We only have the other one too cannot even get to play at all because they said that it's the game changer. He has won the AFCON before. He's also a right winger. They didn't call him when the going was tough. They went for someone that came around 4 o'clock before the game. So one thing I just see that he just realized that Simon is slightly more flexible than Lookman. He thinks that Lookman can still, Lookman can do the magic. It's more, Lookman is like he can come in. You can see the way he won the foul in midfield, the way he was trying to dictate play, the way he was coordinating and everything. I think he just realized that Lookman is like one of his trusted ally, but just as Simon, just do this thing for me because nobody will do it. That's why Simon played there.
And sorry, and in the second half though, they made that switch. Once they came out after the halftime break, Simon went to the left, Lookman went to the right side. So I think that was a sign from the coach and from the players that okay, you know what, this thing is not working. Let's change it. Simon was eventually subbed off because even after he switched to the left, to be fair, he wasn't really imposing himself. He tried sometimes to dribble past his defender, but he just carried the ball for goal kick. So it wasn't the best performance from Moses Simon. Ademola Lookman's side though, he assisted the goal for Victor Osimhen. What do you say? You think he was our best player in the game? I think the best player was what? Let's not debate that too much.
Okay.
But yeah, Ademola Lookman definitely had a good game as well. Was trying to impose himself on the match, was causing a threat, for the Equatorial Guinea defenders. And frankly, if Samuel Chukwueze had got it right at the end of the game, Ademola Lookman potentially could have even scored a goal as well, or at least had a chance to score a goal. And I'm going to use that to kind of move on to Samuel Chukwueze's performance. I mean, he made a cameo. He came on as a sub, in the second half when we were fighting to get, the go-ahead goal. And I'll just go and I'll say I was very largely unimpressed by his performance. Samuel Chukwueze is a player that has been riding on the fact that he's very talented for quite a while now. We always talk about him and it's about, how talented he is. He has the quality to be such a good player in the future. But unfortunately, we've just not really seen that growth impact his performances when he's playing for the Super Eagles of Nigeria. It has almost become what would I use to describe it? It has almost become a staple of Samuel Chukwueze's performances for Nigeria. That that when he gets into advanced positions and he needs to make a final decision, you just know that he's always almost going to make the wrong decision. If he's either pass or shoot, and the right option is to pass, he'll probably shoot. If the right option is to shoot, he'll probably pass. If there are two passes and the one on the left is the correct pass, the one on the right is the wrong pass, he'll pass it to the right. What do you think is the reason why Samuel Chukwueze's game has just not been able to rise to the level of actually putting in good performances for Nigeria?
When he was growing up, they call him the new Iron Robert. I'm not really sure they watched him very well because though he showed flashes of promises when he was younger, and I cannot remember the last time Samuel Chukwueze had a very good game for Nigeria, except, let's be honest, no club side now. The last time was the game against Zaria at the quarterfinals of the AFCON 2019. You can go and check it. It does not really have good games for Nigeria. So my issue basically is this: he just needs to be dropped fully from that squad. Because if he's coming, he look disinterested. He doesn't look interested in the game. And I don't know the reason why all this actually was happening. Maybe something is happening in the background, but with what I can see, I don't think he's ready. And if this continue, I think the manager actually has a decision to actually what to make, because this is not really beneficial to that team. Because the pass he was meant to give to Victor Osimhen, I thought that for a player playing in Champions League for AC Milan, would have handled it better in that position than actually what he did. He did it as if somebody had displaying apologies in Wafu Cup.
No. And I'll say, yeah, is that decision making that is holding him back. It will be interesting to see if they can actually drop him from the squad completely. I doubt. And I say part of the reason why I doubt is because do we have that many wingers that are steadily, playing ready to replace him? I think that's a question that needs to be answered as well. But I think he needs to step up. In terms of when last he played well for Nigeria, 2019, I think, is a bit too far back. I remember that there's one of the matches that we played, I think the 2-1 against Sierra Leone in the qualifying round. I think he had a pretty decent game. This was June of 2022, so it's been a little while. But I think he had a decent game in the match against Sierra Leone when we beat them.
Score an assist?
No, he don't have to score assist to play well. He didn't get an assist, but he played well. And in 2022 in the AFCON against Sudan, he scored.
What did you do after he scored?
I'm just saying. So at least that one, he impacted the game. But he needs to find a solution to these bad performances. We cannot keep on making excuses for him. We cannot keep on saying, oh, he's so talented and he's not able to show it. He's 24 years old. This is a time where we're seeing young players imposing themselves. You watch Lamine Camara for Senegal. It's only 20, and he's already impacting with 2 goals in his first AFCON match. So if you are 24 years old, this is not your first AFCON. You need to be able to step up and you need to be able to ball. So I think it's a challenge to Samuel Chukwueze. You need to show us something. We don't hate you, we don't dislike you, but at the same time, for all the support that we've given you right from the under 17 level up till today, you need to start repaying us back. It's time that we start getting dividends for our investment. Otherwise, we're going to sell all the stocks that we have in Chukwueze if we cannot get some kind of return on our investment. Okay, moving on from Samuel Chukwueze, let's go to one of his best friends, if not his best friend in the squad. I'm talking about the best player in Africa, the winner of the CAF award, Victor Osimhen. Osimhen, on any given day, is Nigerian fans' most trusted Super Eagle. On any day, if you ask Super Eagles, the first name on the team sheet is Victor Osimhen. But for whatever reason, in the match against Equatorial Guinea, Osimhen was just not at his hot best. In fact, even though he got the equalizing goal for us, largely down to the good work by Ademola Lookman to create the chance, Osimhen missed a number of high quality chances that you'd expect him to bury. And I think it started from in the first half when he went through on goal 1-on-1, and then he played a poor finish. The goalkeeper saved it. Then the flag went up for offside. So that one, okay, saved by the flag. We kind of accepted that. Okay, yeah, at least maybe the next one that he gets, he'll do better with it. And then another chance came in the second half. Fine save by the goalkeeper. Took it to the face. You would want to expect that the top striker will finish it, but at the same time, you can even kind of explain and say, oh, it was on his weak side. He was moving away from goal. The goalkeeper rushed off his line. You can explain why the goalkeeper made a good save and give credit to the goalkeeper. But then the third chance, the one close to the end of the match, he was slipped through by Alex Iwobi, and he had all the time and space in the world. He could have, cooked food, had dinner, and then he would still have had time to finish that shot. And somehow, the keeper didn't even save it. Osimhen
Mhm,
just played it wide of the target. Ordinarily, that's the kind of chance that, naturally you would expect him to open up his body and just
mhm,
try to place it into the bottom, far corner. But
mhm.
instead, he tried to go near post to the same area that, was the goalkeeper was covering, and he played it completely wide. I'll say it's an uncharacteristic miss, but in the opening game of the AFCON, when we're struggling to find a goal, and he misses something like that, it definitely is going to be talked about, because at the end of the day, you're a striker, your job is to score goals. Um, what do you think was the reason for Osimhen's lack of clinical finishing in that match? Because again, like I said, not only the one in the final minute of, or in the final minutes of the match, but even the one that was ruled out for offside, it wasn't a good finish. What can we put that down to?
So you let me just say a few things about it. It's not every day that you get to it's not wasn't on form against Equatorial Guinea, but the chance the last one that Iwobi slipped through to him, I won't lie to you, that is unpardonable miss. Especially when your country wants a winner. Your country actually wants to score the winner. So that's actually what unpardonable, because take it or leave it. Victor Osimhen is one of the leaders in that team. And I know some players that I think that everybody can actually miss opportunity, but I think that at least Osimhen should have forced the keeper to a save. If he's gonna actually miss it, Osimhen should have forced the keeper to a save. And my prayer is that Nigeria should qualify, because if Nigeria is not qualified from this group, we crash out early, people will still visit that miss, and it might not really be nice to what he has done for Nigeria, because Yakubu was so good for Nigeria for so many years until that miss. So people forgot the qualifier goals he scored and everything until that miss. So I just hope that Victor can actually pick himself up and also perform well in these tournaments. But what I would say basically is this: Victor also needs to play with his teammates if they're actually in a better position. I know that he's a goal scorer. He's bound to be selfish, but he also need to actually play with his teammates. And secondly, too, if one thing that I have to praise Victor for against Equatorial Guinea was that his runs were spot on. I like the way he was bending his run. I like the way he was trying to keep himself onside. I like the way he was trying to always be faster than those defenders. That is very, very good. And that tells you that he's going to still score more goals in these tournaments. But I just want him to take it very easy. But it wasn't the best of performances for Victor Osimhen against Equatorial Guinea.
And on the thing that you said, though, I want to ask, if we go on to play the other two matches, he scores maybe one or two more goals in the group stage. But for whatever reason, let's just say we don't still qualify from the group. Do you think people will still go back to that first game and say, oh, if Victor Osimhen had scored that chance, we will qualify? Or
Yeah,
if you think so?
yeah, yeah. People will still go back to it. See, let me tell you something. It's about that is Nigeria for you. That is Nigeria for you. Single games normally ends normally like any player's career. I can tell you, people will still go back to it that because he missed that chance now. He missed that chance now. He missed that chance now. So that is it. That mark will be there. For example, now it was there. Uzo made a mistake in Abuja with the qualifier for the World Cup. People will still refer to it tomorrow. So, people Yakubu miss. Okay, you were on Eagle Strikers Live. Yakubu was there. People were still sending videos to Yakubu. They see your brother after many years ago. They see your brother after many years ago that he missed that opportunity. 2010 World Cup, 2020 don't pass. This is 2024. 14 years. I mean, 20, that was 2023. 13 years after. They see your brother. So the issue is this: Nigeria they don't forget things like that. So that's why I think Victor knows that that he needs a lot of work to do.
Mm. Okay, fair enough. And then finally, to round off this review of the game, how would you rate the overall performance? What did you think of the display, despite not getting the win? Was there anything that you were happy with? Was there something that you were not happy with? And then I want you to end it by rating the team on a scale of 1 to 10?
For me, what I wasn't really happy with is that the left side of the defense between Zedu and Ajayi. No, they should not try that again. Two of them are so lazy defending. Ajayi, Shemilogo, was really bullied off the ball. He wasn't playing that position. I should would understand, but he was making mistakes and everything. So I think that area is to be sorted because that area is the area for Jeremy Boga. So I don't want, I don't, I don't want, I don't want that area to be the problem. Or if they didn't put Boga, they can go and put Adingra. So I don't want, because Adingra is still there, waiting in the wings. So I don't want that area to be sorted. And secondly, too, we won't have this much opportunity against Ivory Coast. When we get it, we should take it. The one that they put, that Victor scored, if he missed that ball, because it was put on the plate for him, it was on the plate. If he missed that ball, that'd be very, very terrible. So if we have opportunity, we should make sure we take that opportunity. I will rate the team 8 out of 10.
For that performance?
Yes. The team performed well.
Okay, interesting. I'll say, okay, for me, the things that I like the fact that we created many chances.
Yes.
I will say that. I like the fact that Stanley Nwabali looked comfortable in goal and didn't cause any errors. I liked the performance of Alhassan Yusuf. So for me, I think those are the three key things that I would, take from the game and be happy about and say, okay, let's just do more of that. But as far as what I did not like, like you mentioned, the decision to play Ajayi at left center back. I think it didn't work. And I hopefully think that, or expect or wish that they would change it for the next match against Ivory Coast. I also did not like the gap that existed between our midfield and our defense. With Alhassan Yusuf essentially playing box to box, he will be trying to be creative. And Frank Onyeka, honestly, just walking around the pitch. He was just doing cardio. I don't really know what he was doing. There always seemed to be that gap between our midfielders and our defense. That's is he Salvador? Yeah, Salvador Ivan,
yeah.
was taking advantage of. He was finding those spaces and he was just like any quality midfielder, just finding himself in between the defense and the midfield and just picking up those good spots. And then, he eventually scored a goal, which is another thing that I didn't like. I didn't like how everybody just seemed to be ball watching for that goal that Salvador scored. Iwobi and Onyeka confused themselves. They made the mistake. Okay, fine. Now you can recover from it, but they were just watching. Zedu Sanusi also on the left side. He was closest to Salvador at the time when Salvador took the shot. And if Sanusi had, sniffed out the danger, if he had been proactive rather than reactive, he could also have prevented that opportunity.
Yes.
So hopefully they can fix those things going into the next match. And then finally, the amount of chances that we missed, I think it works hand in hand. If I say, we created lots of chances, but at the same time we only scored 1 goal, it's because we also missed a lot of chances. Sanusi missed 2, Osimhen missed 2. We need to just clean that up. I want to believe that Osimhen would not miss clear opportunities like that and again in the next match because we know how good he is. But it's just worth pointing out for anybody that did not watch the match. Even if you watch the match, it happened, so we should talk about it. And for me, overall, I'll rate the performance a 6 out of 10. I cannot give them as high as 8 because 8 would imply that you passed the test, that you were good at the test, But for me, 6 means that, okay, you were just a little bit above average. And I think that's why that's what they deserve. I give them above average because, okay, yes, you did a good enough job to create chances, but at the same time, you didn't win the match. So you didn't excel at the test or anything like that. So I cannot really give you a pass mark of like 7, 8, 9, 10. So yeah, 6 over 10 is what I will give them. And then finally, Smith, to round off this episode and this review of the game against Equatorial Guinea, what would you say your level of confidence is looking forward to Ivory Coast? We're playing Ivory Coast on Thursday, January 18th. What would you say your level of confidence is in the team ahead of that match?
We're going to inflate the first defeat on Ivory Coast in this tournament. You will see there's going to be more space to work on. For me, the combination of the Amondi and Njika is not working because they were not really tested against Guinea-Bissau. In fact, one will be pointing to one direction, one will be pointing to different direction. if they see Victor Osimhen coming, I'm pretty sure that they're going to actually they're going to panic. So I think that key to that game is that make sure that you always have somebody in front of the defense line. So I'm confident that we're going to do well. I just want player like Alhassan Yusuf fully fit, and also Victor Osimhen to be back in full training. So despite that this opportunity, I still think that Victor Osimhen is key to us winning. So we also have to remove it back now.
Yeah.
So we have to remove it. We have to get an actual training with the team. So that means that instead of bringing Chukwueze, we can bring Naija in that place. So which makes a lot of sense. At least Chukwueze might even be rested. He can go to Lagos and come back. But what's it called? We have options. That's just a summary of it all. And let me just put a disclaimer. It's not as if I hate Chukwueze. I just want him to sit up. I just think national team is a serious business, and he needs to step up his game. That's my take. I'm confident that
so your number, you didn't give us a number for your confidence level.
65%. 65.
Okay.
6.5 out of 10. Yeah.
6.5 out of 10. I mean, I will say I'll go with about the same. I'll say a 6. I'm a little bit less confident than you are. I like how you've been confident with all your predictions throughout this. Before the AFCON, during the AFCON, you're unwavering, which is good. You have to stand on business and carry your full chest with anything that you say. But for me, this game, I'll go with a 6 out of 10. It's funny that you mentioned the Dika and the Omande not working, which is quite true, but very unrelated. But just a fun fact: the last time that Osimhen faced Ndika, Osimhen got sent off. So hopefully, hopefully something like that does not happen in this match. But yes, that's pretty much it. I'm sure most of you guys that are watching or listening watch the game as well. If you didn't watch the game, you've probably seen the highlights or you've heard a lot about the performance from the boys. We just wanted to give you our thoughts as well. On the next episode of the podcast, we will be previewing the game against Ivory Coast, which is our second match of the tournament coming up on Thursday, January 18th. This episode of the podcast was sponsored by EagleStrackerShop.com, your number one spot for Naija flavored merchandise, t-shirts, hoodies, phone cases, accessories, phone caps, everything in between. And we ship to every country on planet Earth. It doesn't matter where you are. Just order and we'll get it to you. Thank you very much, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. As always, my name is AyoT and my co-host is
Smith Layi. Thanks for joining.
Yes. Bye-bye, guys.